This week on Machinery Pete TV, tillage and cultivation equipment are the focus of this week's auction, as well as a 1968 John Deere 4020 to pull them with. We'll see how this 1938 Huber still gets around, and Pete visits a Minnesota man and his amazing garden tractor collection.
Your machinery is a serious investment, and at the heart of every farming operation. Some call it a passion. We're Machinery Pete TV, and today we'll cover everything from auction roundups to the classics to the latest trends and technology. Machinery Pete, the most trusted name in farm equipment.
Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com. Hey folks, welcome to Machinery Pete TV and welcome to my home state of Minnesota. Today we're in the southeast corner of the state, beautiful Lake City, close to the Mississippi River. And being that we're in Minnesota, unfortunately that means we have a chance for a blizzard later this afternoon, but I think we're just gonna make it with the sale today. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna watch a classic John Deere 4020, 1968 model, under 5,000 actual one owner hours on it. Now before that fun, let's go back to the studio and catch up on the very latest farm equipment news.
Thanks, Greg. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Lots of producers are getting ready to put a crop in the ground soon, but a new survey shows the coronavirus is weighing heavily on their minds. In fact, 90% of those surveyed by Farm Journal expect to see an impact on their business. But only 30% of the people we asked said they were concerned about becoming sick. Farmers and ranchers telling us they're worried about the uncertainty of commodity markets, the financial outlook for their businesses, and the health of their families and their labor force. A couple of meat packing plants are cutting production because of concerns about the virus. JBS USA announcing it has temporarily cut production at its Souderton, Pennsylvania plant. That's after several senior managers displayed flu-like symptoms. The company says the plant's fabrication and ground beef production will continue, with full operations expected to resume April 14th. Also, Purdue temporarily closing its operation in Milford, Delaware due to COVID-19 cases among employees at the facilities. It has since reopened. Some states now labeling meat packers as first responders, which would provide them with greater access to things like masks, gloves, as well as other services like child care. Now let's take a look at some recent auction prices from around the country. That's it for news. Now back to our host, Machinery Pete.
Hey folks, stay with us. Coming up, we got a really nice little disc we're gonna show you. This Sunflower 1433, this thing's 25 foot.
Now $5, two and a half is down $5, two and a half is down $5, now 7, gotta be 7.5, 7.5, now 10, 10, now 12.5, 12.5, 10, 12.5, 10, 12.5, sold it for $10.
Hey folks, I'm here with Kyle Ferguson, young auctioneer with Sullivan Auctioneers. Kyle, you have to tell us the story. How did you get into the business?
It's kind of a funny story. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I went and asked a local auctioneer if he wanted to be a sponsor for a football golf outing. And he said, yeah, come on out. And, you know, I was going to get the money from him. And we just got to talking about auctions. And I'd always been to auctions because my dad and my grandpa would buy cattle and stuff like that. So I went out there and we just kind of headed off talking about it. And he said, come out sometime and just kind of see how we do things. So on a Saturday sale, I went out there in my street clothes, just kind of checking things out. And I hear him say my name over the microphone and said, Kyle, get in here and take bids. And I look around and he's talking to me. So I get in there and I start hooping and hollering and taking bids. And ever since then, I started going to his monthly sales, helping them out and helping them do benefit auctions.
How old were you at this time, Kyle? You were high
I was
school.
16, yep.
16.
Yep.
Okay.
16, and I went to auction school when I was 17, the summer between my junior and senior year of high school in Mason City, Iowa. Ever since then, I started helping a few more auctioneers. And how I got hooked in with Sullivan's is, like I told you, Matt's wife Crowley used to babysit me when I was just a little guy. And so I always knew Matt, and Matt asked me to come help with the consignment sale in March 14th of 2018. And then, like I said, Dan asked me if for my name and number and address in case, like, for more help. And I thought maybe I'd hear from him, like, the next consignment sale or something like that, you know, because it was always kind of a dream of mine once I started getting into the auctions to work for Sullivan's eventually at some point in time. And the next day, I actually get a call to fly out to Colorado with him. That was kind of exciting.
So Dan called you the next day?
The next day, yes.
Yeah, as busy as they are, that was probably surprising. You called you right back, huh?
Yeah, I was very surprised, yeah.
And that phone call, he asked you not just, hey, how you doing, but...
He said, hey, are you busy Saturday? I said, no. He's like, can you fly to Colorado and help me work a sale? I said, I will be there.
He said, yeah, I'd love to go. And how are we going? I said, we're flying. He said, I've never flown before. So we kind of kidded him, and he flew out there, and I let him auction out there. So from there on, it's just we have him on full time now, and just a great asset to see a nice young, farm background boy coming into the auction business. He's a perfect fit for our company. He's sold in 7 or 8 different states already, and it's nice. It works both ways. He's excited, and we're excited for him.
It's got to feel pretty good. I mean, you're not even 21 yet, and you had a dream about getting into the auction business, and here you are. It's coming true.
Yep, it's got to remember that I am working sometimes. I'm not just living this fun life that I am just for fun, but if you can do something you love every day and get paid to do it, then there's nothing better than that.
All right, folks, time to do a little discing. We got a Sunflower 1433 25-foot disc here. Now, last month on a farm auction in north central Texas, I saw a Sunflower 1433 35-foot sell for $12,250. But again, 25-footer here. Now, this morning I looked on MachineryPete.com, and the average dealer advertised price on a 25-foot, $16,339.
Just a handy size 12 pounds. We're 12 pounds. 13 now. 30 on the right track, oh buddy. 13 5. 14 pounds. 14 back now. 14 5. 14 5. 14 5. One more time. 14 5. 14 5. All down. 14 5. 14 pounds. 14 5. Surplus 14,000.
All right, folks, staying with our tillage theme, we've got a John Deere 980 field cultivator, 36.5 foot. Now, just in the last month, I've seen 8 John Deere 980s between 30 and 38 feet sell at auction. Average price, $9,175. And the range, $17,000 on the high side, down to $5,900 on the low side.
6 down, now 60 to that. 6 down, down, 60 to that. 60 to that. 6 down, down, 60 to that. 6 down, down, all down, it's coming to the one now. $6,500. $5,500, 7.5. $6,500, $6,500, all down, up. 67 to bid. Sold on site, 6,500.
Here are a few more items that sold on today's sale.
Sold at $350. Bid $700 today, $50, bid $750, bid get $50, all day, but all day, bid get $750. $750 about it. Sold at $700. Final call at $275. Sold the internet at $250, $750, $50, $750 all day, but all done. 7.5, $750, $750 about it. Sold it, $700 about it.
Get more from your seed bag by doing more with your seed bed. Learn how at caseih.com/seedbed. Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.
Hey folks, I'm in Red Wing, Minnesota here with my friend Bruce Dankers with Dankers Enterprises. Bruce, good to see you again, buddy.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Now Bruce, the used equipment market, what have you been seeing here maybe end of 2018, first part of 2019?
Well, I think the lower dollar items, you know, you get 30 or less, are moving really well yet. Market's really strong. Anything over above that, it's weaker. But the good used sharp equipment, you know, older stuff is moving really well, and the markets are strong.
You're describing what I've called the limbo bar. You stay under a certain price point, no matter how tough things are, used equipment still moves. And for you, you're saying like under 20?
20,000 is probably the quick movers, you know, 30 a little bit, but 20 is probably the ideal number under, and it moves well.
Now Bruce, I know you got into the business here, buying and selling used equipment back in 13?
13, yep. That's when I got a lot stronger in it, yep.
Okay, and back in 13, middle of 13, that was a different time.
Yep.
You were selling a lot of.
Yeah, we were selling probably $130,000 tractors, and I mean, we could get them in and they were going out as quick as they could. And then, of course, the market's changed since then a little bit, so.
Well, life's changed. Now, I was just admiring, we're standing in front of Bruce here, a new acquisition for you, this beautiful International 550.
Yep.
Where'd you get this baby?
Well, we picked this up in Osseo, Wisconsin to a farmer that was retiring, and we got a prototype 505, 1206 serial number, and I decided that this would look really nice behind it because it's kind of the same vintage. I think this was built probably in the early 70s. And I thought, well, that'll look really nice behind my prototype 1206.
Now we need to slow down there and tell people that a prototype 1206, man, there's only just a couple of those things around, aren't there?
To our knowledge right now, there's 11 of them. There's two number ones. There's a number one Wheatland edition, and then the standard edition. But
do you still own the 1206 prototype with our friend Danny Anderson?
Well, actually, Danny's got 508, and I got 505, so we each got our own.
Gotcha.
But Danny and I own the number one 1086 together.
The 1086, right.
Yep.
Welcome back to Tractor Tales, folks. This week we're going to tell you about a unique tractor we found on an auction in Ohio. This is a 1938 Huber and was owned by Pete from Ohio. Huber started building tractors in 1898, but moved to construction equipment in 1942.
We have a 1938 Huber made in Marion, Ohio. This is a row crop tractor. These are especially different from the wide front end ones that were more stationary to run thrash machines. These were used more for row crop in the fields, and they made 400 of them. They used a Waukesha motor. They weren't very popular. They're kind of rare. They made more of the stationary tractors, the wider front ends. The row crop, it's pretty unique. Usually the Hubers are green. They painted the row crops gray. So yeah, that's a little bit unique there, being gray. This comes from an auction in Indiana. It usually fires right up. I prefer a battery where you turn the key or push the button and start them, especially on a hot day. It ran when we got it, and we just repainted it for the most part. We didn't do much mechanical. Mechanical work was pretty good on it, and a lot of people enjoyed it at the parades.
Well, folks, get your popcorn, get your peanuts, get your snacks, because you're not going to want to miss our feature item here. 1968 John Deere 4020, one owner, just under 5,000 actual hours on it.
Machinery Pete TV, brought to you by CORVUS corn herbicide from Bayer. Get an early season win against weeds.
Well, folks, the last 20 years I've compiled just shy of 2,300 auction prices on John Deere 4020s. Now, if we narrow it down to just the 1968 models, the last 3 years the average price has been really steady, right around $7,950. But our feature item on today's sale, it ain't no average 402068 model. This thing's a one owner with just under 5,000 actual hours on it.
13,000, 13, 14. I'm gonna 13 down, 14,000. I'm gonna 13 down, 14 down, one owner 14,000. I'm gonna 13 down, 14 down, 14,000. I'm gonna 13,000, 14, 15,000. I'm gonna 15 now. down 16. About a 16 pound dollar, about a 16 pound dollar, yet again loop. About a 15 pounds and 16 pounds. About a 15, about a 16 pound dollar, about a step up here, raise the land, 16 pounds. About a 15, about all original 10 work, guys. Original bait. 1 hour. 15 pounds and 16 pounds. About a 15 and 16 pound out of 17 pounds. 17 pound out of 17 pound out of 16, 17, 16 pounds and 17 pound out of 17 pounds another. About 16 pounds and 17 pound out of 17 pounds. 16 pounds and 17 pounds. 16 pound out of 17 gives 16 5. About to get 16 pounds and 500. About 16 500. 16 5. 16 5 here now. What are we gonna do? 16,500. About 16 pound out of 16 pound all through 16 5. 16 500. 16,500 and anybody else at 16 5. 16,500 out of 16 all done. 16 5. 16,500 and ladies and gentlemen, final call on the 40-20 at $16,500. Sold at $16,000, sold at $16,000.
Well, there you go, folks. Our feature item, the 1968 John Deere 4020, one owner, just under 5,000 actual hours on it, sells for $16,000. Now, if you ask me how that stacks up, here's the scoop. It's the second highest 1968 model I've seen in the last 20 years. In fact, the only higher one was a couple years ago, 17.5, just 30 miles away from here, but that one had been completely overhauled. Well, folks, I love garden tractors, particularly vintage models from the 1960s into the 80s. I mean, that's when I grew up. Now, recently, I got a chance for an up-close look and to shoot a YouTube video walkthrough of the coolest vintage garden collection I've ever seen. Denny Hink from up the road in Red Wing, Minnesota. And I tell you what, Denny has a very rare model series of Oliver and White garden tractors that are just beautiful.
This is the one with the Renault motor in it.
Beautiful. A
And
wheel horse.
I haven't got the the bottom painted yet.
Yep.
See, that's all plastic, that back deck, and that drapes all the time.
Okay.
And mine is just, it's all, perfect.
Right. So you were telling me wheel horse were manufactured both, was it Germany? And also
Yep,
in
in
the
this
US?
one. Yep, this one. All the other wheel horses were made in West Bend, Indiana.
And this one is from
It-
West Bend?
No, yep, this is from West Bend.
Okay.
But originally, a lot of them were made in Germany.
Okay.
Yep.
Now right next to it, we got kind of an interesting little rig, the Heston.
The Heston.
Where'd you get this 180?
Yes, out of Des Moines, Iowa. And they made choppers and, that's the same company, that Heston.
So you got the blade on the front there.
Yep,
Did you move some of our record snowfall last year?
No, but it turned,
Right. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen one of these rigs either. That's pretty cool.
They're different.
Now we've got some more whites here.
Yep, that's the newer one.
Yep.
Those are the 80s, and the 78, 80.
Okay. Well, what is it about that 70s, 80s vintage, 60s through 80s, that does it just kind of speak to you, Denny, or what is it about it?
Well, they're old enough, they're collectibles.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to get in after 85, would be the kind of the cutoff.
Sure. And when we finished our walkthrough video, Denny had a little surprise for me. Denny, how long you been making salsa?
15, 20 years, long time.
And how much? What is a batch? How much do you make?
I made over 50 quarts of salsa.
50. And I got to get a close up here. Now, can you
I
divulge
only got
any-
about 30 left.
Well, I tell you what, folks, this salsa from Denny, it is awesome. Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com.